Awesome, awesome, awesome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So this is going to be a very fun event. And basically what we have going on is that we have the Sacred Authors Guild invites you to join us live, which is right now, 4:30 Eastern Time, 1:30 Pacific Time. We are going to be doing Sacred Authors Guild events. This is our first one. We may have others in the future, so always keep track. Follow us on social media or whatever news group, whatever link you found this in. Make sure that you stay tuned to that link and sign up. And so we're going to be offering like special discounts. We're going to be talking about what we do. Melanie Barnum, she is an author, international award-winning author, keynote speaker. And then we have Zoe Flowers, who is just wonderful. She's got this yoga teaching going on. She does follow I Am Zoe Flowers because she does live readings on, I think, Instagram and Facebook or whatnot. And we'll get into all of that. So first, I just wanted to say thank you, thank you, thank you for tuning in. And I'm going to ask Melanie Barnum. Melanie, please introduce yourself and let us know who you are, what you do, and your perspective on the world right now.
So, hi everyone, I'm Melanie Barnum, and I am a professional psychic. I am also a psychic medium and an international author, as Granddaughter Crow said. I am a what's the right word? I'm a purveyor of knowledge right now. I'm kind of looking for different things. I am interested in finding out how everybody kind of clicks and everybody works together. And I feel like that's something that the world needs right now. I also feel like, we're going through this holiday time, which for me is an amazing time. I absolutely love it. And I feel like it just brings an extra added element of joy and contentment and happiness. But for some people, it brings a lot of stress as well. There can be financial stress. There can be emotional stress. There can be stress that's connected to family history and, being alone at this time of year. And one of the things that I like to share with people is that even if you're alone, you don't have to be lonely, because there's a couple of different ways that you can kind of tune in and connect to other people. One of them obviously is social media, but in a positive way. You can be a positive social media person, meaning that you can follow people that mean something to you or that share things that are positive and that can uplift you in some way. And when you do things like that, you don't have to feel like you're lonely because you're connecting to other people on that level. Another way that you can kind of feel connected to others is to tune into your own intuition and ask yourself every morning, where can I go? What can I do? Who can I reach out to? And how can I just be in my own skin today and feel more connected? And when you start to do that every day, when you start to ask the question of yourself, of your own intuition, and you ask, how can I connect to other people more joyfully, more happily, more positively? When you start to ask that question every morning, you're going to start to find that your intuition will give you little nudges throughout the day. So you may not get an automatic response. It's not like it's an auto response where, your phone corrects what you just typed in and it happens immediately. It's not always going to happen that way. Sometimes it will be a sign that you'll receive later on in the day that will say, hey, we're hosting a party at your local bookstore and we would love for you guys all to come down. And then you say, oh, I don't feel like doing that. But then later on, you get another message from somebody else saying, hey, I'm going to go to that local bookstore. And, I think it's going to be really fun. And you may just see it posted on Facebook that somebody's going. And then you might see it again as you go to the grocery store. You may see a sign hanging up. Hey, we're having a gathering at our local bookstore tonight. And all these little signs are pointing you, and your intuition is telling you that maybe this is going to be a good place for you to go so that you're not so lonely. And it's not necessarily that you have to do something huge or that you have to do something that will be a grandiose, event. And it's something that is going to take up a lot of your energy and possibly too much of your time. You could do something small. But when you ask yourself every morning, when you get up and you say, what can I do that's going to help me get through the day better? What can I do that's going to add to my positivity, that's going to, make me happier today, no matter what state of mind you're in on a normal basis, then you'll start to get these intuitive nudges. And as I said, some of them may be signs that are kind of right there in your face, and synchronistic events, which means that, these things are happening in real time for you to acknowledge. And some of them just might be a little feeling that, hey, I might want to reach out to Granddaughter Crow today because she might have some uplifting spiritual stuff that can help me. And she may pull a card or two for me or give me a reading, like a 15-minute reading that I need. And that's going to help me today. Or I can reach out to Zoe and ask her for some yoga tips. And I can reach out to Melanie. You can reach out to me and say, hey, can I have an email reading? Or can I purchase one of your books or a deck of your cards? And these are all great ways to start to connect to yourself and to not feel so alone or by yourself. And it's also a great way to kind of relieve some of the stress that you have throughout this time. We're going through and we're living in the holidays right now. And the world is kind of in a crazy upheaval, no matter, what side of the world you live on or live in. We're all going through something. There's a lot happening. So just to get that positive juice flowing and just to get that energy moving, when you wake up every morning, just ask, what can I do to make me happier today? What can I do for positive energy today? And that's going to be something that you can carry through after the holidays as well. Carry it into the new year and keep you going. What do you think, Granddaughter Crow?
I love it. Melanie, thank you so much. And later on, MelanieBarnum.com. It's very easy to remember. Reach out to her on social media. And now for our next wonderful Sacred Authors Guild member, we have the magical I Am Zoe Flowers. So take it away, Zoe.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. So happy for this gathering today. And so, yeah, I'm Zoe Flowers. I am a Reiki master, a tarot reader, and a new yoga teacher. It's a new thing for me that I'm doing, and also obviously an author. And, so much of what you were saying, Melanie, was resonating. And one of the things that I really just encourage for people who are listening, like no matter when you hear this, is to just take a minute and so right now I have my right hand over my heart, and I'm going to take my left hand, I'm going to put it over my belly. And I just invite whoever is hearing this to do this as well. And just let your shoulders drop. Unless you're driving. Don't do this if you're in the car. And just key into the sensation of your feet on the ground. It is the holidays. It can be a stressful time, but as Melanie said, it's been a stressful time, right? But what we always have is our breath. And so let's just take a minute and just connect to our breath. So just go ahead and inhale. And when you inhale, just see if you can fill your belly up with air and let your belly expand. We're always trying to suck in the gut, right? But just go ahead and inhale and let that belly be big. And then on the exhale, see if you can pull that belly into the spine as you let the air out. Inhaling again, letting the belly fill up, maybe letting the chest fill up, maybe letting the air go all the way up to the collarbones. And then when you exhale, let the collarbones drop, let the chest drop, and let the belly pull in. Go ahead and drop those hands down on your thighs. We always can return to the breath. We always can return to our hearts. And so no matter what is happening right now, I wonder if you could just key into your heart for a minute and just ask your heart what it desires, right? We're going into the winter. It's a time of going inward. So much of our current existence is fighting against nature, fighting against the seasons. And so my tip, my suggestion, my offering would be to just lean into what this season is about. This season is about going inward, tapping into yourself. What are you desiring? What is waiting to be birthed in you, right? For those of you that follow astrology, you know we're going into Capricorn season very soon, which is all about the earth. So my question for you would be, what needs to be born right now? What needs to be deeply rooted? How can you be more deeply rooted as we go into 2023? Melanie gave amazing suggestions for going and being more deeply rooted into your intuition. And I would say, in addition to that, go into the body. Go into your body, your beautiful body. Maybe your body wants to move this winter alone in your apartment, in your home. Maybe it wants to dance. Maybe it wants to stretch, right? Maybe you could spend some time in nature, right? Going on walks for people who have cars, driving for people who like to bike. I'm in the cold part of the United States, but people like to bike in the cold as well. Go out in nature. Let that cold air brush against your cheeks. Let the cold air brush against your hair. We're so disconnected from the natural world, which I believe is the reason why so many of us feel so lost. We're disconnected from the earth, we're disconnected from each other, and we're disconnected from our own bodies. We're disconnected from our breath. We walk through life holding our breath with our shoulders up to our earlobes. Let those shoulders drop. Take a deep breath. Feel your belly. Feel your heart. Be in gratitude for your body. And that's what I have. Thanks.
Well, now I'm in a meditative state and I'm supposed to present. What the heck? I love it. I love it. I love it. So, they call me Granddaughter Crow. I am born to the Billigana clan for the Taachini clan. I'm a member of the Navajo Nation as well as Dutch heritage. I am an award-winning author. And I have a few books out, working on another one. I also am a teacher. I offer the Circle, which is every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern time. If you haven't checked that out, go to my website. I also am a mentor and do one-on-one sessions. So, wow, I absolutely agree. I mean, it's like both Melanie and Zoe said, go within and then go without. Go within and feel who you are. Ask yourself what you want to have a better day, and then reach out and maybe to the natural world, maybe to another person. So gosh, what do I have to add? Well, let me reach into my little quick tips and tools box, and I will say something very, very basic. Take a piece of paper and write down your 5 senses. What is that? Your physical touch, sight, hearing, smell, taste. And then write down what comforts you. What comforts you with that? What comforts you in your physical touch? Is there a soft blanket? Is it a weighted blanket? Is there a certain smell that you're drawn to? Is it lavender? Is it jasmine? Is it a certain incense? Is there a certain taste that comforts you or cheers you up or brings you into your own self? And so through the five senses, we can begin to self-care. And when we self-care, energy goes where consciousness flows. So when we self-care, our consciousness comes back in here, then we breathe like Zoe had us doing, where I almost fell asleep. And then we follow, what Melanie said, just ask the universe, the spirit, the divine, as it reveals itself to you, ask it, show me this or that, show me this or that. I do it to the extent of, if I am to attend this event, show me a purple butterfly. If I'm better off, and it doesn't really matter, show me a banana. And inevitably, on social media, you'll see one of those too. The universe is always talking to you, constantly speaking to you. But sometimes we have to set up those parameters, what I like to call a psychic dictionary, set up those little, hey, spirit, if it's yes, do this. If it's no, send that. Or if it's right, do this. If it's left, do that. And the universe will respond to you, because the universe usually speaks to us through signs and symbols, etc. So I absolutely love that. And I love the support around the holiday season. Now I'd kind of like to kick it back over to Melanie and ask, what do you offer that people can find support through 2023 in general? Like, what do you have to offer? And then we'll go to Zoe, then me, and then we'll probably think about taking questions, or it looks like Sierra, our moderator, is in here. If you have any questions for each of us, send it through the chat and we will go from there. So back over to Melanie. What do you offer the world as an author? How do we sign up for reading with you? Do you have classes going on? What's up, Melanie?
Thanks. So again, absolutely love everything that you have both said and agree with everything that you both said. And I think that, some of you already have these things going in your spiritual practices, or some of you already have these things kind of listed as, noted up here in your mind as the things that you want to do. And what's interesting is Granddaughter Crow talked about the tangible stuff, our physical senses that we can use. When you use your intuition, which is one of the things that I do offer, is mentoring to help you to use your intuition. When you use your intuition, most of it is intangible. So it becomes more difficult to interpret sometimes, and it can become more difficult to understand. And that's where I can come in with mentoring, is that I can help you to learn how to interpret those things and how to kind of decipher those things and how to tune into your intuition, because we have, for every physical sense, we also have a psychic or an intuitive sense. And we have more than that. We have the feeling. We have clairsentience, which is feeling. And that's usually the number one sense that most people have, whether or not they realize it. We are born, this is all part of our innate birthright, to have these intuitive abilities. So we're born to have this feeling sense, which means that, you might get a gut instinct that tells you to either go towards this person or to stay away from this person. Or you may feel like this job in particular is a better job for you, and you may feel guided towards that. Or you may feel that this other job is a better job, or yes, I should quit my job, or no, I shouldn't quit my job, or, the list goes on and on and on. And what I can offer is mentoring, which I do on a normal basis. And I do have a program where I have people sign up so they get a discounted mentoring session for once a month for a year. And it is a pay-as-you-go plan, so you don't have to pay up front. And that's something that I offer quite a lot, or that people take advantage of quite a lot, because it is a discounted thing. And it's what happens in a session like that is that not only do I mentor you, so I help you to understand how to use your intuition better and how to kind of tap into it, whether you see things clairvoyantly, whether you hear things clairaudiently, you feel those things clairsentiently, clear cognizance, you just know these things. The list goes on and on. But however you receive that intuitive information from the universe, we work with that. Symbolic, kind of that whole metaphysical connection. We work with that. And I also offer readings. As Granddaughter Crow said, I do psychic readings. In my readings, I pull through information from your guides, your loved ones, and I write everything down before I even call you or video chat with you. And everything that I write down comes from your guides or your loved ones on the other side. And it's everything that's going on in your life currently, maybe some stuff from the past, maybe some people that have passed on that are trying to connect to you. It's also talking about things that are happening in your life now that you want to make decisions or changes with, and you're not sure which direction to go. I also will talk about things in the future. And then I'll also address specific questions that you may have in any reading. And another thing that I offer in the beginning of the year, a lot of people take advantage of this as well, is I'll do a card reading for you for the next 12 months. And it can happen at any time during the year, but people tend to like it for the new year. And I use my own Psychic Symbols Oracle cards, which are a collection of 45 cards. And I pull a card for each month and then give you a little detailed explanation about what that card is and what to expect for that month. And I also have 8 books out right now. So my 8 books, I'm working on my 9th book actually, in a deadline right now. The new one is called Real Life Intuition, and it's going to be all about real life people experiencing intuition and how it affects them and what happened, whether they listened to it or didn't listen to it, and the outcome from that. I keep looking this way because I have my cards right here that have all of my different books on them. And all of my books you can purchase on Amazon, or you can get, at your local bookstore. You can get them from Barnes and Noble, Goodreads, whatever. You can also get them directly from my website, melaniebarnum.com. The good thing about all of my books is that they have exercises. Every single book has exercises in it that will help you to develop your own intuition and will help you to connect to your own intuitive awareness. And they also have true stories of real life readings that I've done for people to help you and to help you understand kind of what the topic is that we're discussing. And those real life stories will help explain and give you a little more background about what we're talking about. And like I said, it kind of reads like a novel, all of my books, in a way, because there's so many stories that I share, but they also will teach you how to tap in for yourself and what it means to tap in and to get that universal guidance, that guidance from the universe to help you. So that's what I offer right now. And I offer that into the coming year. And right now I am running some specials. So I think we're going to talk about all those specials as well. Through Christmas Day, if you log on to my website, or if you Venmo me, either way, Melanie-Barnum1, I believe is my Venmo. But if you pay me by Christmas Day, you can do a buy one, get one free. So you can do that for a book. You can do that for my card deck. You can do that for a reading, and you can use one for yourself and gift one for the holidays. And beyond that, through January 1st, if you pay by January 1st, you'll get 20% off of any of my offerings, whether it's a book, my card deck, my mentoring, my readings, whatever it is, 20% off. And like I said, the buy one, get one through Christmas Day, 12/25. If you take advantage of that, you can gift them as well. There's a limit of 3. You can buy 3, get 3 free, but you can gift them as well to your friends, to your family members. There's also options on my website if you want to do email readings, which are very financially doable. It's much easier for some people, and you can do an email reading with a question, or you can do the option for 2 questions with an email reading. So, like I said, take advantage. This is a special for this video that you're watching right now, that you're taking part in right now, through December 25th. buy one, get one free, no matter what it is. Or all the way through January 1st, you get 20% off of anything that you'd like.
Talk about generous. Look at that, Melanie. Thank you so much. And if you're paying attention to our chat, our wonderful Sierra moderator is giving everybody websites and Venmos and things like this. And so I'm going to turn it over to Zoe. Zoe, what do you offer and how do we take advantage of the support that you provide through 2023 and any specials or whatnot that you might be running for them?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So I do readings. I do tarot readings. I do Akashic record readings for people who are interested in that. And if people are interested in what the Akasha is, it's basically the library of everything that ever was and everything that ever will be. And a lot of us readers tap into the Akashic records when we are doing different readings. I also work with your spirit guides and your most enlightened ancestors. So because I've been working in the domestic violence field for the past 22 years, a lot of my work has to do with trauma release and helping people who've experienced some of the things that I just discussed, some of the things that I've discussed myself. So I also, as I said at the top of the conversation, I also do Reiki, trauma-informed Reiki, healing-informed Reiki. So if people are carrying heavy things, those are typically the people that come to me, the people who are at a crossroads and really want to make a decision about things. Those are typically the people who usually come to me. I do a lot of work with releasing trauma through the body. Not so much with the yoga yet. That'll be more mid next year. Right now, it's mainly the readings and the Reiki. I also do a lot of ancestral work and ancestral healing. So I mentor people about connecting to their ancestors, setting up ancestor altars, how to maintain ancestor altars. I do house blessings as well. I can do over Zoom, walking people how to clean their homes energetically and spiritually, especially around the holidays when you have different people coming in and out of the home. And, you know, the home can accumulate a lot of stagnant energy. So if folks need a house blessing to sort of get all of the old energy out and welcome the new energy in, I do that as well. I also do animal ally readings. So if you want to know, I work in 3 month, 6 month, and yearly intervals with my readings. So if people want to know what their animal ally is for the year or what their crystal ally is for the year, those are the type of readings that I do. All of my readings are also intermingled with numerology and astrology. So for folks who are looking for more information on their big three, their sun sign, their moon sign, their rising sign, I also do readings along those lines as well. Yeah, of course I do, how do I say, sort of, you know, career, love readings. But my specialty really is healing informed, trauma informed. How do you tap into your inner light? How do you tap into your own divinity, right? That's really the work that I do. And I also have 2 books out. One is called In Praise of the Witch, which is a book of poetry, which you can get on Balboa Press or Amazon or at your local bookstore. And then my first book is From Ashes to Angel's Dust, A Journey Through Womanhood. And that is a collection of interviews that I did with women of color and their experiences with domestic and sexual violence. And so in that book, there's also tips and exercises and things like that to help release trauma. So those are some of the things I do.
I love it, love it, love it. Thank you so much, Zoe. And so I guess it's my turn. Granddaughter Crow here. Some of the things that I offer, one thing that I'm doing is that I want to make, I'm not just an entrepreneur, I'm a socialpreneur. And I'm shifting my business model over the last few months to be able to connect with a wider audience, irregardless of your income or where you're at in the world. So I would say that, you know, I have a blog, but lots of free stuff. follow me on YouTube. I do a weekly reading. Sign up for my newsletter. I usually give a little extra to my people who are doing the newsletter. But then on a weekly basis, I run this thing called The Circle, right? The Circle with Granddaughter Crow. We have so much fun. Usually is about 45 minutes worth of a presentation on a spirit-led topic. And then we go into non-recording mode and we just kind of talk together. It's all live on Zoom. And then we do an after-hour social circle for half an hour where you get to hear about how Granddaughter Crow was chased by a squirrel in her backyard, right? These types of things that you're just like, but what? You're a medicine woman, Granddaughter Crow. What do you mean you got chased by a squirrel? And I'm like, yes, the squirrel's will was stronger than mine. That's all I got from that one. Nevertheless, I also am on Patreon and different levels. If you sign up for memberships, you get savings. You get savings. I don't have a cool little sheet like Melanie does, but I have a handful of books out. And you can get these off of like Amazon. You can get them at, Barnes and Noble, where you get your books. You can do that. Hold on, let me. Peekaboo. I went a little fuzzy, so I just reset. Maybe I went all spiritual on you guys. I was in another realm, right? Woo! Let's see. Is there anything else that I'm thinking? Oh, yes. So I'm going to make this mysterious. Why? Because I'm Granddaughter Crow, and crows are mysterious and magical. I am opening up for the people who are in the live and are watching this in the next couple of days. If you go to my website, www.granddaughtercrow.com, you will see a tab that says special one-on-one, 50% off. If you prepay it, you can book it out, or you can get an e-gift card. You can put, whatever you want on there, and I'll know that you did the e-gift card, and then you can schedule, workshops in the future. I'm only doing it for the 13th, 14th, or 15th, or am I? I might open it up sporadically, which makes it kind of like come back and see Granddaughter Crow's website. I have a blog on there. I have so much fun stuff on there. And also, that's my gift to you. But I would just say that I also want you guys to think about, we've got MelanieBarnum.com, we've got IamZoeFlowers.com, we got GranddaughterCrow.com, but think about things that you have gifts in that you may want to offer to friends or family that don't cost a lot of money. Maybe you want to gift little psychic readings or blessings or candles or whatever. So sometimes in this holiday season, make it magical. Make it magical. So I would love to see, is there any questions that you have for Melanie, for Zoe, for myself, for all of us? Is there any questions that you have? I'm going to ask a question for us. So all of us are authors. What gives you the inspiration to take on such a large project? And what do you find that happens with you when you do so? Melanie, do you have what gives you the inspiration to take on such a large project?
That's actually a really good question. People ask me all the time, what made you start writing? And my first book came out back in 2012, the Book of Psychic Symbols. And it's a book that people don't want to share. A lot of the other books people will share, they'll buy it, they'll read it, and then they'll share it with their best friend. And then they get it back. They always make sure they get it back. But the Book of Psychic Symbols is one that you can keep by your bedside because it has almost a dictionary of symbolic meanings in the back, over 500 different symbols in the back. And what made me want to start writing and what made me want to write these kinds of books is that I have so many questions from people all the time about their intuition, about symbols and symbolic messages and how it all works and what it all means and whether it's just their imagination or whether it's something else. And how do they know that it's something else? And I get these questions all the time. And I've discovered that I can reach a larger audience by writing books that talk about this and that help people to discover their own intuition. Since the beginning, and I've been doing this for over 20 years professionally now, since the beginning, I have always felt like people need to know that we're all intuitive. Some of us, yes, like myself and your other co-hosts here, take it a step further. And we really do tune into our psychic abilities and we help others by doing that. But we all have this gift. As I said earlier, it's part of our innate birthright. We all have this gift and we can all tune into it. It's just a question of how much we do it or how much we want to do it. So I decided to write these books. My first book was because this is the biggest question I always got was, how do I know what I'm seeing or what I'm hearing or what I'm feeling? How do I know what it means? And so when I do readings, I get symbolic imagery, symbolic messages. I hear things, I see things, I feel things. I kind of use all of my psychic senses. I just know something. And the Book of Psychic Symbols, like I said, was my first book. And it's a way to interpret and decipher the things that you may feel are just in your imagination. And it also explains how it differs from your imagination and how we can tune into that more and how we can learn and practice to tune into our intuition more. And like I said, I felt like if I wrote the book, I could reach so many more people because it helps so many more people. Now, the reality for me is that growing up, I can hear my mom still saying it in the back of my mind. My mother always said, we all have one good book in us, at least one. And obviously I took that to heart because now I'm on my 9th book. And I feel like by doing this, by writing these books, people can feel connected. Even if they're not talking to me or they're not talking to another professional psychic, they can feel connected to us in that way. And I also am so happy and proud that my books have been translated into so many different languages all over the world. So I'm reaching people all over the world. I actually just got a message from somebody today that took a video of themselves reading my book. And I think it was a Swedish translation, the book. And she said, I'm sorry, my first language is French. I'm reading this in Swedish. So my English isn't so great, but I just wanted to tell you, I absolutely love this book. And for me, I would have never reached them otherwise. And so I am so grateful and thankful that I'm able to do this and I'm able to help so many other people all over the world and do readings for people all over the world because of these books as well. And that is kind of what my professional life is all about. It's about helping others. So if I can do that one by one because they've picked up one of my books, then that's awesome. That's great. And it makes me very, very happy. And I get to share my knowledge. And with each book, it seems I am gaining a little bit more from my clients. I learn from my clients. I learn from my teachers. My clients are my teachers. So I get to share a little bit more about what I've learned and teach a little bit more by sharing that in my books. So that's pretty much why I did that. And my oracle cards were a kind of offshoot of my first book. They're called Psychic Symbols Oracle cards. And it's because everybody kept saying, why don't you make a card deck that can go with your Psychic Symbols book? And it was kind of a no-brainer. Like I had to do that because it made total sense. And everything just kind of flows. And I found that with your intuition, here's a little tip. It's like swimming in a river. And swimming upstream is more difficult than swimming with the current. So if your intuition is telling you, or if you feel like you're fighting constantly to do something, that means you're swimming upstream. You're making it harder for yourself. And unless you're a salmon that has to swim upstream, then you're just making it more difficult. If you start flowing with the current instead, things are going to come to you so much more easily and so much more naturally. And you're going to go with the flow. That's where that saying comes from. You're going with the flow and everything's just going to kind of fall into place much easier.
Perfect. I love it. I love it. I'm going to toss the ball over to Zoe and ask what inspires you as an author or a creator. And then we're at 10 minutes past the hour. We have another question that I want to kind of hit, which what is our creative process? So Zoe, what inspires you? And then we'll go into the next round of creative process.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. And then we also had a question about our experiences that let us knew that we were powerful. So we had another question in the chat. And also I forgot to say I have 20% off on my services for participants on this call between now and December 31st. So I wanted to say that. What inspires me? Everything really. Things that are happening in my own life. You know, my first book was based on my own experiences with domestic and sexual violence and conversations I had with my girlfriends about their experiences, and then just other women that I interviewed. So, you know, my work has a pretty strong political ritual bend to it. And the things I see in the media, things I see in the world when I look at the lives of my mothers, my grandmothers, all of those things inspire me to write the stories of my ancestors in particular. And, you know, for me, the main question of my writing, of my healing work is how do we heal? How do we heal, particularly people of color, particularly women identified people of color? How do we heal in the face of patriarchy, sexism, racism? How do we love ourselves? How do we love our bodies in the face of media? So I was taking a playwriting class, and one of the things that the teacher said is every artist, writer, whatever, they have this itch that they can't scratch. It's an itch that they're always trying to scratch. And so for me, it's always about how do we heal? How do we love ourselves? How do we trust ourselves? And so the first play I wrote, it's called Ashes, and it was based on my book, From Ashes to Angels, Dust, A Journey Through Womanhood. And yes, it has domestic violence stories in it, but for me, it was always about the rituals that I added into it and the music. And people would come to the theater and they'd be like, I was looking for the violence. And I'm like, no, it's about the healing. For me, it's always been about how do we heal ourselves and how do we heal each other? How do we heal in circle? How do we heal in community? How do we release trauma from the body? And so that's what inspires me to keep writing. I would say that as my spiritual process has shifted and grown, a lot of my work has sort of moved from the day-to-day lived experiences of people and has gone more into the realm of ritual. I think the more that I've been comfortable as a magical person in the world, that has shown up more in my reading. And so it's this question of how do we heal? But then there's also this other drive I have to make the magical world feel accessible. I think that it's like Instagram, TikTok, all these things. It's which I love both of those things, I guess. But it makes I think that the image of a magical person can feel removed. I think that sometimes it can feel to people that it's not accessible to them, that it's over their head, that they're not good enough. And for me, I just want to make it easy and accessible. And so this next iteration of my writing, because I am actively moving away from sort of the violence conversation and moving more into, tapping into your own magic. Like the world is a magical place. The world is a joyful place. And so how can we tap into that? That's really what's inspiring me now. In the midst of everything, how can we have joy? And how can I translate the joy and the transformation that healing work has given me? How can I share that with people so that they'll want to do it too? So that everybody will want to do astrology. Everybody's going to want to get readings. Everybody's going to want to get Melanie's books to tap into their to Everybody's want to get her oracle cards. Everybody's going to get, Granddaughter Crow's cards, and our other colleague Lindsay, her book on flower essences. Like I want to, well, not I want, I am a part of this new paradigm of spirituality and the return to the divine goddess. And it's all about the divine feminine rising, honey. so that's what, maybe that's what my next book will be about. I don't know. Like,
I
the
love
divine
it.
feminine rising in me. I don't know.
I
Awesome.
love it. I love it. So just to keep us on time to make sure that we can do a reading, I'm going to quickly, we've got a couple of ways. So I was figuring that we're doing, okay, so we'll just do a round robin with April's question about the creative process. What inspires me? You do. You inspire me, period. That's it. I am here to inspire, to encourage, to empower you to be your authenticity. My whole vein, is you being who you are. Because what kind of a world would it look like if we all showed up as who we are? In a world that continues to tell us who they need us to be, what would it look like? What would it feel like? What would the action be if you show up authentically? So nevertheless, I'm going to toss it to Melanie. Melanie, if you wouldn't mind just taking maybe 2 minutes really quickly, in short, because creative process, but what is your creative process?
So I saw on the chat that there's 2 questions. And so I'm going to address the first one very quickly about, have you ever had a major experience? I'm reading that question to kind of sum it up that way. My first experience of knowing that I needed to do this work was, I felt like I was hit over the head and I heard the words, "You need to do this work now." And I kind of said, what? Like, this was well over 20 years. And I was the controller of a company. I was an accountant. I was the mother of a brand new baby. And I said, there's no way. And I kind of looked around like, where did that just come from? And immediately I knew what it was about. And I knew that it meant this, what I do now, the work that I've been doing for over 20 years now. And I am blessed and happy that that happened to me. Happier that it wasn't a bolt of lightning that struck me down, or a major car accident that took me out to make me have a near-death experience. I had it easy, I think. And so that was a huge experience for me. And my creative process, now this is kind of interesting. I can be very ADD. So my creative process, when I sit down and I start to write, I find that writing novels is easier for me. It just flows better. Yet I have yet to publish one of my novels because I never finished them, because I keep getting interrupted writing my other books, my psychic books, which is what all my books are about, intuition. And my creative process with that is, all of a sudden I have an idea and I think, oh, that could be a great book. And that's something that a lot of people want to know about. And so I sit down to write the book. And like I said, I'm very ADD. So I don't just sit down to write the book. I sit down to write the book. I have a baking show, a holiday baking show on in the background. I have my, husband banging away on the ceiling because we're renovating our house. I have my daughter coming downstairs saying, "What's going on? Are we going to go shopping today?" And I have my dog running around, in between my legs. And I'm looking outside at the beauty of nature. And I'm doing all this, and that's my creative process. And then if I get stuck, one of the best things that I ever started doing is that if I get stuck and I don't know what to write next, I ask anybody. If I don't have anybody around me, I'll email somebody, or I'll message somebody, I'll text somebody, and I'll say, give me a word. Just give me a word. It's not even a complete sentence. Just give me a word. And then I will build a paragraph or even a chapter around that word. It just gets the creative juices flowing. So if you're ever thinking about doing something like this, about writing a book or about creating something, get that sentence starter going. It doesn't have to be an actual sentence. It could be just one word or just one idea, just one thought, just one image, a visual, a sound, anything that can get that process going. So that was a great question. Those are two great questions, actually. So thank you, guys.
Absolutely. So yeah, I'm going to invite Zoe to take a minute or two, talk about one or both of those. Was there a major event, and what is your creative flow?
Yeah, so there's been so many my whole life, so many major events, but I mean, it could be spirit because I am clairaudient as well. So it's like spirit telling me turn right, turn left, and there's a parking space. Or I'm doing a Reiki consultation on the phone, and all of a sudden my shoulders start to hurt me. This was when I first started doing Reiki. And I said to the person, when you feel stressed, does your neck hurt, or do you start to itch or something? Somebody, I never knew them. And they're like, absolutely. Like, I start to itch. These things start to happen. One person, I'm talking to them on the phone and I'm seeing buckets and buckets of chicken. And I kept asking them, like, what is this with this chicken? They're like, oh, I don't know. I've been working on my diet. Everything is fine, blah, 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 blah. And then as we get to know each other more, they're like, well, actually, when I have my cheat days, I eat buckets and buckets of chicken. And I was like, oh my God, like, is this real? Like, I constantly have these moments of, I can't, like, how is this happening? So that's that. My creative process, I just hear things. I just like hear things, a poem or something, and then I'll just sit down and I'll just write it out. Or I'll, I will look down my street. I live in Brooklyn. My street is beautiful. One day I got out of my truck, I looked at my block, and all of a sudden a film just dropped into my head. So I just went in my apartment and I just started writing it. So that's my process.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Major event. I was kind of born into this work. My father and mother met in seminary school. When I was born, it was just like Spirit said, okay, it's you to carry the cloak. So I was kind of fashioned as far as major events. Heck yeah, I've had a lot of them, but it's kind of like I was kind of born into this, and it's just the calling of my soul. As far as, but then there was an event where it was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to leave corporate America and I'm going to start doing this Granddaughter Crow full time, etc. My creative process, I get an idea, and whether it's for a book or a concept, and I sit down and I type out an outline of all the things that I can think about, what would apply. And then I just go in and I start filling in that outline. And then, you know what the interesting thing is I think that I'm pouring everything that I have into this chapter until I start writing the next chapter. More comes through. I thought, what else do I have to talk about? Oh, I have this. Okay, I'm tapped. I poured everything into the wisdom of the natural world. And then, oh, okay, well, now I'm really tapped. Oh, no. So it's a matter of trusting that it will keep flowing once you allow it to flow. So nevertheless, great questions. You guys have been so wonderful. This is the time for us to do a reading. We have about 5 minutes left. So what we're going to do is you get to choose. Do you want to be a part of group 1, group 2, or group 3? Get it in your mind. If you choose more than one group, that's on you. If you choose all 3, that's on you. You'll have to digest more information. So are you going to choose group 1, group 2, group 3? Now that you've got it, Melanie's going to read for group 1, a quick reading. Zoe's going to read for group 2, and Granddaughter Crow's going to read for group 3. Melanie, take it away.
Okay, so for my reading in group 1, so anybody that chose number 1, I'm going to read and pull a card from my Psychic Symbols Oracle card deck. Here we go. Exciting. Wow. This is a great card. This is the door card. And as you can see, there are a lot of different colors and a lot of different doors there. Now, on all of my cards, it's got the title, it's got an image, and it also has a basic description on the bottom. So I'm going to read that basic description for you about what the door card means. Let's see if this applies to group number 1 and what kind of information you're looking for. Or maybe it can answer what you're hoping to get an answer for. Are you looking for new opportunities or worried you're being shut out? Many new and exciting things are opening up to you right now. If your life feels like a revolving door, you should take advantage of the cycles. You're being given the opportunity to revisit ideas. Remember, when one door closes, another opens. Use those openings to your benefit. And I'm also going to add that anybody that chose group 1, this is about opportunities, right? So it's saying that regardless of what you're asking, regardless of what you're thinking, regardless of where you are in your life, there are many different opportunities coming your way or that you're working with now. And behind each door, there will be a different benefit for you from these opportunities. And behind each door, there is a different opportunity for you. It may be that you're looking for something that has to do with your career or your love life or your money or your location for your home or what you should do starting the new year in general. And this card is telling you that there are many opportunities out there for you. Thanks for choosing group 1. And my Psychic Symbols Oracle cards are obviously available on melaniebarnum.com or Melanie Barnum Psychic on social media.
Love it. Thank you so much. I forgot to choose a group, but I wish that I had chosen one at that point. But then
Well, maybe
again,
we all get all 3 groups.
maybe we all get all 3 groups. Okay,
Yeah.
so Zoe, you're up next. Let's see what you've got.
Great. So I decided to use my Astro dice and a couple of charms. So it's interesting. So I got the number C here. So anytime I get a letter, the first thing that goes with me. So what I'm hearing is calling. And then for the astrological sign, I got Libra. And then for the house, the astrological house, I got the number 11. But this is also for time. So this is for the next 11 months. And so for me, what I'm feeling right away is for the next 11 months, the focus is really going to be about relationships because we do have Libra here. And the 11th house in astrology also, it's associated with the sign of Aquarius, right? And so that's air. So we have double air here. So for me, this is about the quality of your relationships, really digging in and looking into the quality of your relationships in 2023. And this is actually going to help bring you closer to dreams come true because I do have the unicorn here. And so anytime I see the unicorn, that's like the impossible becoming possible. But there does need to be a culling, going back to that letter C, there does need to be a culling of outdated relationships and things like that. And I also have an elephant here, and that's going to lead to abundance. So looking at your relationships, where is your energy going? Where is your energy flowing? Where is it stifled? And what people, places, or things need to be called out as you move forward? That's what I have.
Wow, that's so dynamic, you guys. See, this kind of makes it where people are going to be like, oh, I want to see the next sage, the next event thing. So I'm Granddaughter Crow. We are in sacred space, sacred time. I'm going to be working with the Spirit of the Wheel cards for group number 3. Oh, it's talking about balance and action. Balance and action, right? So now we're looking at the ability, just like what Zoe just said, we've got the number 11, we've got that Libra balance, we've got the action that Melanie was talking about, and it literally says south. So it's about that opportunity and taking the advantage of that opportunity. It says lessons, growth, and trust. So it's kind of like all the life lessons that you have. Let's grow, let's do something, and let's trust that it is calling us somewhere. And that balance, not only between external relationships, but that balance between the head and the heart too, people, the balance between your internal masculine and your internal feminine. So now let's take a look here. Oh, we've got unicorns and dragonflies, right? This is all about utilizing your imagination to be able to manifest that which you wish for. So here's the interesting thing. I teach a psychic development class, and somebody said to me, hey, how do I know if this is my imagination or if this is my intuition? And I'm like, well, you don't, but the question actually becomes, what is driving your imagination? Who is driving your imagination? And then the lines become like that. So nevertheless, it looks like we've got a lot of balance. We've got a lot of action. And I say action because it's a spirit path of the self. And we've got a lot of magic, like dream, 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 dream. So it looks like we are at the bottom of the hour. Melanie, you want to say anything to sign off? Let us know how we can get in touch with you once again.
Sure. So just look me up, melaniebarnum.com, and on social media, and all social media, you could follow me at Melanie Barnum Psychic. And I would love to hear from you all. I would love to stay in touch. And thank you for spending this last hour with us all.
Absolutely. Zoe, what would you like to say? How can we get in touch with you?
Yeah, so you can find me at iamzoeflowers.com, and it's the letter I, the letter A, and the M, like I am, zoeflowers.com. You can also follow my podcast. It's the Magic Hours Podcast, and it's MAGICK Hours, HOURZ podcast, and you can find that on Apple, where most podcasts are available. You can find that.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So thank you again. This is Granddaughter Crow, www.granddaughtercrow.com. And I make it myself sticky. So got to check out my website every now and again. To wrap this up, I would say big shout out to Llewellyn Worldwide. Also big shout out to Melanie Barnum and to Zoe. And we're hoping that we might have another one of these events coming up. So make sure that you follow us, like our stuff on social media, and who knows, maybe even give us an idea of what you would like to see from the Sacred Authors Guild. This is Granddaughter Crow, and we will be seeing you on the flip side.
Bye.